Shout out, Sniper T on the beat.
Tamara to the break of dawn is on the rise, with life on the forefront of the mind. So line for line, you can ride this brain train and you can change your station without even touching the dial. So relax, stay a little bit, but listen for a while. And whether you're bumping this in the whip or in a business fit, it's a meeting you won't want to miss. A meeting for a meal to feed the soul with words for the mind. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Time to take off, it's time to fly. Cause Tamara till the break of dawn is on the rise.
Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Oh, man. Hold on. We're gonna run that back. We're gonna pretend like that I didn't even start, because how dare the audience not be ready? So let's run that back. Hey, y'all. It's me, Tamara. Okay, get into it. Act like y'all know what's supposed to happen right now. Yes. And I have a special guest that I will introduce very shortly. But to all my new listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. New episodes drop every Thursday. I generally talk about my life and how I'm trying to grow. And this is a different series, but it still fits into it. And y'all will know more about that in a second. But to all my regular supporters, again, as always, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for continuing to listen, interact with my content, tweets, all that good stuff. If you're not, you should totally be following me on social media. So the link to my social media is in the episode notes. And then also subscribe to my YouTube channel. As I say every week, it literally costs you $0 to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And that is a great way to support as I'm trying to grow my channel. And I don't just have podcast stuff on there. There are company motivational, inspirational videos. Sometimes I'll have vlogs with kind of random moments in my life or whatever. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link to that is in the episode notes. Announcements. Podcast happy hour is sometime this month on somebody's platform. We don't have details yet. Get y'all some Melanintoxication merchandise, you know what I'm saying? The link to that is in the episode notes. But yeah, so I will officially introduce my guest in a second, or not a second, in a little bit. But I do have a guest this week. I feel so out of sorts. It's probably because the studio audience wasn't acting right in the beginning. Y'all set the tone for how the show goes, and it's so hilarious because I'm saying this like it's literally not a sound app on my phone and technical difficulties, but nevertheless, y'all set the tone for how the episode goes, as you can see. So get it together, y'all. But okay, so I have a guest this week, my friend Samone. How long have we known each other?
2010.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, yep, that sounds about right. So over a decade of friendship. She's out in Cali doing her thing out there with her husband and their 3 lovely children. So we will learn more about her very shortly. But we're going to go ahead and get into the I Saw a Tweet segment of the show. I love doing this with guests because some people I will discuss their own tweets. That's not what's happening today. And so people get kind of nervous, like, oh Lord, because you just never know what I'm going to do. But guys, do we want to do this? No, we want to do this. All right. So when I saw this tweet, I figured this was perfect for this segment because, this is the Melanintoxicate series, which is about highlighting in this case, a Black woman who just really inspires me on my journey. However, this tweet that I saw, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but it's really, there we go. Nothing really wants to cooperate, and I still blame the studio audience for not being together. It's y'all fault. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Okay. So I saw a tweet today, and the original tweet, and I will show y'all the video, is of Tia and Tamara both doing different dances. And the original tweet says, Tia and Tamara being back on my timeline this morning is so funny to me, especially the stark difference in their pose. And then she says, I love them both. But the retweet says, I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, I apologize, y'all. So the retweet that I saw says, I love them both. It's really weird to me when people validate Tia's blackness but not Tamara's, which is weird to me too, because there's this weird thing where we think that something we do or say or eat even or listen or whatever is what defines our blackness, when they both have a black mom. Yes, they have a white dad, but like they're literally not the same person because they're two completely different people. But it's like, yeah, but we'll go ahead and play the video because I just think it's so interesting the reason why everyone, you know what? I bet you I didn't even, hold on. Bet you I didn't even add the sound. Oh, okay. Y'all, I apologize. And you know I ain't even about to edit none of this out, y'all, because y'all know this show is my life, how I'm trying to grow, riding my train of thought. So y'all finna get all this technical difficulties, slip ups, foolishness, me having to pause, to quiet the background, all that. Y'all finna get all that. Excuse me, y'all gonna get that cough. And hold on one second because I gotta sip some water.
I already know how the rest of this is gonna go.
I'm trying to get it together, y'all. I don't even understand. This is my life right now, though, so it kind of makes sense. And thank God this is a good friend of mine who already knows. Could you imagine if this was like some, not celebrity, but just somebody I don't know? I would have to then, I don't even know if I would edit it. You know what I'm saying? That's why this ain't that type of show. This is why guests that I invite on, we have to have some type of rapport. You got to kind of know how I get down, because otherwise, like, this ain't Barbara Walters or, you know what I'm saying? This ain't, this ain't that. This is Tamra till the break of dawn. And I mess up all the time, y'all, okay?
Man, this is life.
Yep. So let's get into this video.
Walked in, 30,000 in my pocket, had them niggas just like, oh. $50,000 on your bill, wanna fuck me, gotta screaming like, ooh. Cause I got a check, nigga wanna flip, I ain't got a flip, but I got it, Yeah, that on some mix, she gon' wanna sit, every nigga in the set, and now she screaming like,
Okay, so here's not my issue with either of those videos, because do what you want when you doing reels or, you know, but my issue with the videos goes back to the caption. And even I kind of went through the quote tweets, and it's like, you could tell who's married to a white man and who's married to a black man and stuff like that. And so, and you know, the song choices are different. Mind you, it's not like, even if she did though, this wouldn't matter, but it's not like Tamara played like rock and roll music or whatever. Like, it's still our music, you know what I'm saying? I can't think of what the original song is to that beat, but of course I think
I know.
Right. I think of Men in Black though, because that's, you know, so that's what I think of. Either way, it's still our music, you know what I'm saying? So like, what are your thoughts on that? Because I don't know. It's such a weird thing that it really, really, really bothers me. I'll let you talk though.
Okay, wait. So it bothers you about the comparison? Is that the thing that triggers you?
It's not even the comparison. It's the comparison of almost saying like T is the black twin, which I saw somebody quote tweeted that the black twin and the white twin, but they're like, what are y'all basing this on?
Right.
So it bothers me, since you asked, because I was going to let you go first. What bothers me is the fact of the way that people still continuously try to box us in on what defines our blackness. If my skin is black, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm a black person doing insert activity. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's what triggers me, like thoroughly, really pisses me off, if I'm honest. And yeah.
I think on my end, I agree, but I was like in my younger years, way back when, I was the kid the skater chick who listened to punk rock music. So I've always kind of stayed in my own lane. I really didn't care if other people got it or not. And because of that, I didn't always fit into those spaces that were considered the black crowd. You know what I'm saying? But then I had cousins or friends who were in those crowds. So I had, that liaison there. But I mean, for the most part, it's all about perspective. I'm like, if you're bold enough to do you, then do it. You don't always have to conform. And I think people should be able to like what they like in that aspect, when it comes to like that pop culture aspect. So yeah, I think it's all judgment. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And I like what you said. People should be able to like what they like. And that applies to this stuff too. You hear it a lot, especially I see it on Twitter, like when people have different, even like sexual fetishes. And we're not getting into like pedophilia.
Right.
Is that how you say it? I don't know. Okay. We're not getting into stuff like that. So, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen don't yuck my yum. So like what I like, don't you try to make it yuck. So why is that not the same thing for whatever black people like? You know what I'm saying? Because I am someone who has done, just has a very eclectic category of music that I enjoy, movies, food. I've always kind of just been me, and whatever I like, I like. And the crazy thing about it is, of all those quote tweets of everybody saying that, or even when I've had black people try to tell me I act white or I talk white or whatever based on whatever standard, it's never a white person saying that. It's always a black person trying to measure my blackness, as if we don't already have enough stuff that we have to endure or deal with or overcome or whatever. Why the disunity amongst ourselves, even about what it means to be black? So I get super triggered by this, because I just think, unless you're out here killing people in the name of being black, or raping people, or harming children, or you know what I'm saying? Let people do them and stop, so.
I mean, I remember me and you a long time ago, like back when I was still living in Omaha, we had conversations about the different shades of blackness and how lighter skinned people versus darker skinned people, straight hair versus natural hair, and the whole nine. And so, I mean, we've gone there before. So, I mean, I think we get it.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, that is the tweet for the segment. I think let's see if the studio audience. Okay, so yes, thank y'all. Okay, I think the rest of the episode might be good. We might have passed the technical difficulties. So y'all, I'm excited about this series. This is volume 2 of Melanintoxication, and basically Melanintoxicate is a brand that I launched in December, and I'm really about celebrating the beauty found within black people. I say melanated to kind of play off melanintoxication, but it's really black people. And so melanintoxication happens when someone experiences feelings of euphoria in the presence of someone who's either the epitome of black girl magic or the epitome of black boy joy. So that's kind of how I defined it. And every month I'm going to highlight someone who is, and it's not even about the physical beauty of the man or woman that I highlight. It's really about who they are as a person, how they've inspired me. And so basically this person is so dope they get high. Hashtag the tagline of the brand, you know what I'm saying? So Samone, like she said, we met back in 2010 and we used to go to the same church. She used to live in my city. And one of the things that really connected us is, you know, I do spoken word, and then her husband gets into that and rapping and such, and they would host events and I would participate in the events and perform as a spoken word artist. So when y'all see me doing the Pentam Z events live and I say I'm not new to this, bam, look at Samone. Not like I gotta prove myself to y'all because I don't have to lie, you know what I'm saying? But you know, and so she's someone who I've been a part of their events. Man, I remember when she used to cook for us and we'd come over her house and, you know, my kids, I even have pictures of when we went to like bowling and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Back when our kids were little, you know what I'm saying?
Now everybody's grown.
Right. So this is someone who's inspired me to continue to grow as a creative even. But then let's get into her resume. You feel me? Because, I mean, she's a wife, she's a mom. Those are super dope things in and of themselves, trying to raise children in this day and age and even staying together because so many people get divorced or whatever. She is an author of 6 books. I didn't even realize that she had written that many books, and I will definitely have her website in the episode notes so you can check out all that she has going on. So The Weekend, I remember that book. It's so funny. Like, I remember that. I think I was a beta reader of that book, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you were. Yep.
So I remember that book. That was in 2012. Ball Hog in 2014. She has a Hadassah 414 Leadership and Personal Development Curriculum in 2015. And then The Falling Scion, which is a 3-part series that dropped last year. So I'm giving y'all on this because she ain't new to the author thing. You know what I'm saying? That's just one part, though. Let's keep going on the many, many talents of Samone. She's a ghostwriter. She's a beta reader, proofreader, copywriter, and a real estate investor. Like, she is out here doing super big things, in my opinion. It should be in y'all opinion too. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, and studio audience, y'all better be together. Let us officially welcome Samone to the show.
Thank you.
Yes.
You make my resume sound all glamorous. I'm like, if you knew the insides of what this circus looks like, you'd be like,
I mean, it'd be like that. It's always the behind the scenes that we don't see. We don't, you know what I'm saying? But these are all the things that you're doing. These are all the things and the services that you have listed on your websites. So, I mean, I'm just telling everybody what you do. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to help take care of the family with my talents, you know? That's really where it all kind of birthed from. So
that's dope. So I want to talk about the real estate investor side of things first, simply because so many things stem from the author and copywriting and all that, and that kind of all ties together. So how long have you guys been doing this? Like, and what even sparked the interest in doing this? Because you hear so many people talking about they want to flip houses and they want to do all this stuff, but you guys are kind of doing it in a little bit different way than just flipping houses for the sake of flipping houses. So talk to the people about that.
Well, I think growing up, I watched my stepmom own houses and make her money that way. She has a really extensive portfolio. And when Chev and I moved back to California, I got my realtor's license. And just to be honest, I wish I would have looked into investing before I got my real estate license. Whole nother conversation. But we decided to form our LLC, which is SCJ Kingdom Investments. And from there, it's been wholesaling. I like to bring a lot of my realtor responsibilities into that aspect. We were looking to flip some properties here, but we're in California. The market is very competitive and tight here. So we do have some future things that we're going to do with that. But we also got into mobile home investing. And that is more, I guess, lucrative for the investor, but then it also yields more opportunity. And so one of our big things that we're planning for and trying to get together is we mentor at-risk youth. And a lot of them, when they get out, they end up going either back into the jails where we met them, or, they kind of fall off the map or go back into whatever lifestyle that got them locked up in the first place. And so what we wanted to do is get a hub of mobile homes and get a piece of land. And then that way they have a place to go where they can get rehabilitation, education, job resources, and just have like a close-knit community where we have on-site services for them. And then we can teach them the real estate business. We can teach them about being a realtor or starting their own business, and just kind of using that as a hub to not just create money and income for our, immediate family, but to also help others in the community that may need that. So showing people something a little bit different as we learn. It's like the more I know, the more I want to share it with people.
I like that. And how long have you been doing that?
2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I'm glad she talked about the at-risk youth side of things, because as I said, you're not just flipping houses for the sake of flipping houses. You're flipping houses with a purpose for a specific demographic and population of people. And when we met, we were both in youth ministry. That's actually where we met, I mean, I talked about the creative side of things because I definitely wanted to highlight that, just her event coordinator skill, even, promoter, you know what I'm saying? All these different talents. But yeah, we started, met in youth ministry, and it's like, yeah, it's cool to see how even years later, you're still, of course, mentoring youth, but then also like taking it to the next level with trying to get them situated, because so often you do see youth go in and out of either the foster care or juvenile court system, and then sadly sometimes continue that cycle as an adult because they either haven't been taught the skills or don't have the resources or the support. So that's what I really love about what you guys are doing, because hopefully it's breaking generational curses in the process.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. And then, another thing is like, not everybody is built to go to college. And when you're coming out of being incarcerated and just trying to establish your self-identity as a person, in society again, college may not be it for you, but you could still be a business owner and you can still do certain things. And a lot of employers, because of that felony record or misdemeanor record, they won't hire some of these youth. And so finding either jobs that will, or letting them know that there's another path that you can create for yourself. And so that's where the business, development kind of undergirds that as well. So.
Yes, I love it. So author and SDJ services, which SDJ seems to be a theme with the real estate side of things and the writing and creative services side of things. So let's talk about Samone as the author first, because that came first. As long as I've known you, you've been an author. What sparks your inspiration and creativity when you write your own books? Like what gets you going?
The best way to explain it, I always have a constant dialogue of something going on in my head. So whether it's a plot or characters or a conversation that characters would have, or I'm out and about and I see somebody, I'm like, ooh, that could be a plot, or that could be a story, or simply listening to music. I could listen to a song and have a whole scene written in my head. And so that's kind of how it starts. And then like I'll have like writing bursts to where I'll spend I don't know, hours writing, or I'll stay up all night just writing, and then I won't write for like weeks. It just depends on how the inspiration goes. But yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm very much a dreamer, always in my head, always thinking thoughts, and then I just try to write them down. That used to be like my little tagline on my thing. I think thoughts and write them down, because I'm constantly doing that. So
let me find out you be people watching and and coming up with stories.
I mean,
that's funny.
It's life though. I mean, or just, it doesn't even have to be like people watching, but just scenarios that you hear of and you're just like, man, people like Lifetime movies, like that all started because somebody had a crazy idea or they went through something. So I'm just like, let me just get to typing and, write something down too.
And so how is it different when you are writing your own book versus ghostwriting? Like how do the creative processes differ?
With my writing, obviously, it's my baby. I get to develop it the way I want. With ghostwriting, it's more of a challenge because you have to take somebody else's vision and wrap it to where they fall in love with it too. So it's like you have to be able to create something that they would see through their own eyes. And so it's challenging, but it's also like, I don't know, exhilarating for me in a sense. Like I'm up for the challenge. That kind of stuff excites me. So yeah, I guess that's the nerd in me that likes that side of things.
That's interesting. So when you talk about the challenge, because we all have challenges when we're trying to achieve a goal like that, unfortunately, it's just the nature of the game.
Right.
So when you have those challenges, what do you do to kind of like overcome, like what motivates you to get past that? Because I feel like if it's your own project, now you're obviously pretty disciplined because you've, put out 6 books, but when it's your own project, you can kind of slack off a little bit when challenges come and stuff like that. But when it's someone else's, what motivates you to push past those challenges?
I think for me, it's if you're paying me the amount of money I get paid to do it, I better be able to bring quality work. And it's not just about the money, but it's just somebody took the time to either seek me out or respond to my promoting of the business. And if they saw fit enough, for me to do it, then I need to show and prove that excellence that I would provide for my own work. And I think I look at every time I get contacted to do something, I look at it as like, somebody really sees something in me that they feel is worthy to represent their work. And that's something that I don't take lightly. Because again, like if I'm going to pay somebody a certain amount of money to write my book, it better be done the way I want it.
Right.
So I try to, reciprocate that.
Love it. Love it. And so then out of the services that you provide, so there's beta reading, proofreading and editing, even book promotion. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. Copywriting and ghostwriting. Which would you say is your favorite service to provide to others?
I would say it started out for sure as beta reading, just because you're getting paid to read books. So I thought that was pretty dope. But then what I realized is sometimes not every book is for you, and you still have to read it. You still have to critique it and give it a good critique too, not just like, pat somebody in the back and tell them you did a great job, but really give like constructive things that they can improve for the book. And I still like to do that, but I realized that the ghost writing part was more up my alley because I'm really into character development, world building. I like to work through plot challenges and that kind of thing. So I just get more fulfillment out of that side of it. I mean, out of everything, I'll do all of them. I'm used to doing all of them. And if I can do it for myself, I might as well do it for someone else. But I would say ghostwriting would probably be the thing that's most endearing for me to do for all of them.
So what does book promotion look like in today's day and age in your world?
That's the thing. Like it's always changing. And that's one of the newer services that I provide. That would be like social media, setting up authors with, there's like book tours that you can do virtually. So you go to different people's book blogs and you get on there and speak, that kind of thing. And so connecting authors to the right people, through the copywriting, I can also set up like landing pages and like content for them to use for just their own websites, kind of tailored to what the author actually wants. And I just offer like a few different things, and then we can have that inner dialogue to see what else I can bring to the table. But those would be the main things. So just outside of posting here and posting there, but it's also bridging the gap to maybe some resources that they didn't know were out there. And yeah, so that's one of the newer ones. I would say I'm still adding to that because I feel like every day you wake up, there's something new that people are doing. And so you kind of have to see if that fits the mold of what you're trying to do as well. So
I'm learning a lot. I didn't even realize it was that detailed and that kind of so many factors involved in book promo, because I saw the social media side of things, and that's kind of more newer. We're in a digital world where that's like the easiest way even to promote your brand or company. But I kind of figured there was more to it. That's why I asked. And book tours, virtual book tours, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like,
yeah. I mean, people do whole like cover reveals. Now, as the world is opening back up again, like people are going back into stores and doing those kind of book signings. But when the world stopped, people got creative and they started doing all these other things that were, I guess, less known about. They became more popular because people had to get creative. So anything that you can use that's going to make your presence virtual, those are the things that people started gravitating towards. I'm not a big like TikTok social media person, so it did push me to one, do more research to make sure that what I put out would be reciprocated, but then also, you know, just to do it for myself as well. So I was like learning as I'm learning to do it for other people and learning different processes, like things that I could utilize for myself too. So
I remember when I'm trying to think if it was Josh or Myron. So Samone knows who these people are. We used to go to their church. But one time they said that limitation leads to innovation. And
Myron.
it is, one of them, you know, I couldn't remember. So I wanted to, but it's something that has literally stuck with me ever since. And that was maybe a decade ago that they said that. But it's just something that's really stuck with me, and it's something that even in just what you just said about virtual book tours and authors having to kind of adjust and move to a digital world, but even as the world just keeps progressing to be more like technologically based, it's kind of like back in the day, we would just have regular commercials on TV or radio ads or maybe ads in the paper. And we're even moving away from that, where people are getting their news in different ways, or even what ads look like, as people spend a lot more time on their computer, and or the need to become somewhat of a almost graphic designer in a sense. Let me not minimize what graphic designers actually do. But when you're trying to promote your stuff, trying to create these cute graphics that are going to draw people's attention, it's kind of like when you are a entrepreneur just starting out doing everything yourself, such as yourself, you have to learn how to do a lot of different things. You have to, like you said, do your research. See, is TikTok worth it? Because some people say yay, some people say nay. It all depends on who you ask, but at the end of the day, it depends on like what works best for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you definitely have to be adaptable, and you know what one author can thrive in, their medium may not be the same medium for the next. And so literally you have to be the type of person that can tailor your content to the more extroverted versus introverted type personalities, and just do it in a way to where they feel satisfied with what they're paying you to do, you know? So giving somebody a good experience.
So your services, are offered virtually. But what does that look like? Kind of like, what has your journey been like trying to build community as an author, especially relocating from Omaha to back to Cali? Because you're originally from Cali, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even that, transitioning from Cali to Omaha, then Omaha
Oh
back to
man.
Cali. Like, what has that been like trying to build community?
Uh, okay, so that piece of it, just the focusing on the community aspect. When you relocate, you're starting from scratch. And so I felt like coming into Omaha, which for me was really different than where I grew up in California. Um, yeah, I was like, I'm starting all over again. And so I stayed in Omaha for 3 years and then came back to California. Get back to California, you're doing it all over again. So again, it's that you're always reinventing yourself, so to speak. And not like being fake or anything like that, but you're always finding ways to either attract what you had before or disregard it and go for what's new. And so I've decided to go for what's new. And yeah, so I mean, just starting with, if we're talking about the beta reading, proofreading, the author services, that actually started 5 or 6 years ago, just doing beta reading. And when I realized, like, yo, I can get paid for reading other people's books, went to Fiverr, slapped my little profile up there, and started doing it. And then as my author journey progressed, I realized all the different facets that go into creating a book and decided to pick apart which things that I enjoyed the most and also providing that as a service. So with doing it for that long, I mean, I don't just do it on Fiverr, but like Upwork, Guru, people per hour, and just providing these services. I mean, it's grown a little platform for myself, like on the back end. I'm very much a behind the scenes type person. So, I mean, it may look surface level like, oh, she only does this, but I'm like, yo, I got like 7 different accounts back here that I'm working off of just to kind of, build that clientele base. And a lot of it has been like repeat customers. So I may get like a few gigs, but they're all from like the same person. I'm like, I'll take it because that means I'm obviously doing something right. So, just it's been a journey. I'll say a lot of the puzzle pieces have been when you're starting over, what pieces didn't work in that previous place and what can work here. What I noticed when I moved back to California, a lot of people that I was connected to, they had either moved out of Sacramento where I'm at, or they were on to new ventures. And so it's like you have to find your tribe again, all over again. So it happens.
Let's talk about the Fiverr and I think you said Guru and all that stuff, because that seems to be an up and coming way for entrepreneurs to kind of get work, build their clientele, etc. So what is that like when you set up an account, and kind of like talk to us about that part of your journey, because it's so interesting the different ways that people are building their businesses, and it's always different for each person.
Right. First thing, I think the biggest lesson that I wish I would have looked into before I actually dove in head first was realizing that each platform, Guru, Fiverr, whatever, they have fees off top. So when you get paid to do a gig, they're going to take their cut. I didn't realize how big some of the cuts were. And so now what I do is I tailor certain jobs to the platforms that I know where the fees are going to be less. And that way I know how much to charge the clientele. So that's number one. But literally, it's really easy. All you do is pick your platform. I would say do your research first. Obviously, I'm very much a research person. Do your research. Kind of peruse through what other people are doing. Look at their platforms. Look at how much they charge for the services. Look at their descriptions, and don't copy paste, but tailor it to what you know you're capable of doing, because the last thing you want to do is copy somebody else's gig and then come to find out that you're not able to perform like that person. And so be realistic with, hey, I can read this many words, or I can do this type of work for this amount of money in this time frame, because everybody's going to look different. But I mean, it's easy. The freelance world is one of those places to where it's constantly evolving, like social media and all the other platforms, but there's a lot of freedom there too. And literally, like, I've gone through Fiverr and people are getting paid to do stuff like, really? Like, I didn't know people are getting paid for this. It's weird. Like, I just saw one this morning, was like, can somebody write my mother's eulogy? I'll pay you $100. I don't know your mother, but you want me to write your mother's eulogy for $100? I mean, literally, people are getting paid to do any and everything. So if you choose to create a clientele base, just make sure that it's something you can realistically do and commit to and give quality work for. Because the other side of that is, if you are doing a crappy job on everything, that's going to reflect in your reviews. That's going to reflect in how many jobs you get and that kind of thing. So just take it seriously. If you're just doing it as a hobby, great. Go out there and make a few dollars, a month as a hobby. That's fine too. But I've seen the freelance world kind of grow over the past few years.
Yeah, I've definitely been kind of seeing that more, and you're, I think, to my knowledge, the only person that actually actively does that. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely wanted to give my listeners some insight, because some of you may be interested in, offering freelance services, especially those of you that are either already entrepreneurs full time or are trying to get there. And as we know, you have to get there slowly. Sometimes you have different journeys where you kind of dive in head first and figure it out as you go, but not everybody has that. So it sounds like that's a good way to kind of get your feet wet, so to say, or so to speak, and then kind of go from there. So yeah.
It definitely started as a hobby, and then I saw the potential for a little bit more. And then keep in mind, like, still doing this on the side of real estate and books and all this other stuff. It was just kind of like a little pick me up here and there that I just grew into more. So
okay, so in with the melanintoxication theme, I feel like every Black person has had this moment where they say themselves, and maybe out loud. For me, it's usually out loud, where it's like, I love Black people, I love being Black, I love us, where we just we either see something or we experience something or see a video on social media even, where it's like, man, I love Black people. You know what I'm saying? And so with celebrating the beauty found within us, what have been some of those moments in your life where we talked in the beginning about our frustrations with the way people define Blackness, but at the same time, we both love the skin we're in, as they say. We both love being Black. And so what have been some of those moments for you?
I would say recently within the book community, not to cupcake the situation, but I have seen it to where a lot of authors of color don't get the same representation of those, on the other side of the fence. And so when I see a Black man or a Black woman putting their work out there and it's getting those rave reviews, I'm like, it warms my heart, because I'm like, representation is a real thing. And we haven't always gotten the best light of that. And in the literary world, like, we don't always have to be on the back of the shelf. We don't always have to have our books picked last. And so anytime that I see somebody winning and getting the accolades that they deserve, it's a plus. And then the next would be just parenting. Like, I'm out with my kids, and I can look at my kid and give them the look. They know to chill out. Other kids is wilding out, and then I see another Black mom, and we just give the little what's up nod, because we know what's going on. That kind of thing. So yeah, it'd be moments like that, just when I see us doing us authentically and winning, and whatever authentic to that person is, like, I love that, and it's motivating. That's why I hit you up, after so long, because like watching you in your journey has just inspired me so much. And I'm like, I'm learning from you. Just like we just had a powwow, a couple weeks ago, and I'm sitting there taking notes off of everything you said. So you're out here winning, and I love that kind of stuff. It inspires me.
Yes, I will say this, y'all, just since she kind of brought that up. Samone and one other of my friend, and it's funny, they're both Black female authors, but these are both people that I've known forever that have more recently become my monthly, like, not necessarily just business accountability, but in a sense, because community is important in all that we do. But definitely as an entrepreneur, it can be a very, very lonely journey. And if people are not also entrepreneurs, they don't understand too much of
Right.
anything. Like they may listen, they may support. So in no way am I saying that people cannot be supportive if they're not doing it. But there's just certain things that they just don't understand about the journey. And so I've been
Right.
super grateful for Samone, and then
Dude.
also, of course, my friend Daquisha, just because she hit me up about something else, and what was we thought was going to be a quick conversation
Man, that was
two and
like
a
two
half
hours.
hours later,
We
I'm
was on the
like,
road. Yeah.
okay, can we do this monthly? Because this was like it was such a refreshing conversation just to, especially as a Black woman entrepreneur, because
Yeah.
that's even different than being a Black man. Like it's just
Yes.
different. It's our own
Yes.
unique experiences, and
Yep.
though she is in a different like genre or to set, so whatever, like a different industry, I guess is the better word, than I am, it's still the same underlying struggles, not even related to being Black, just being an entrepreneur, period.
Period. Right.
So yes, I have definitely appreciated her, and equally so, I've definitely been inspired by her journey. Even back in the day, just first meeting her, and wow, like it's just always dope to me when people are doing the things that they're so passionate about. Like when you have that opportunity, take it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because so many people on the other side of that are like in these jobs that they hate and all these things, and they're very unhappy. And while I know that the work that you do, it has its challenges, it has its frustrations, it's also rewarding though. It's also what you're
Right.
passionate about. It's also what, like you said, you could be out people watching and stories and ideas or listening to music. Like it's just in your DNA of who you are. So like when I see people that get to live out their dreams, that's always been so dope to me. Like, especially as the older I get and the more different people I meet, so many people do so many different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody is an author, although I know
Yeah.
several. Not everybody is a mixologist, like Chris, shout out to her. Not everybody is I mean, I know professional athletes, even that they may be retired now, but still, like, seeing people get to live out their dreams is just so dope, and it's so inspiring to me, which is why I definitely wanted to have you on. So, like, when you're working towards your goals, you have to have a certain level of discipline, of course. But in general, what just keeps you motivated? So, not necessarily when you're working for a client, because we know the money, the
Mhm.
money and wanting to provide excellent service motivates you
Yeah.
there. But we know that with our own dreams, it's easier to slack off, it's easier to procrastinate and all these things. So like what keeps you motivated? Because I mean, some people only write one book, and you've written six, and I know you have another one in the works, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like what keeps you motivated to keep on going despite the
Um.
trials?
Okay, not to get like too deep and sappy or anything, but I've been on this journey of like inner healing, I guess. And little Simone growing up didn't see a lot of what I get to live out with Chevis and my kids. Um, a lot of opportunities weren't given to her or shown, like, this is how you go after certain things, this is how you navigate life. And so every time I write a book and I finish it, there's this part of me that just, I feel like that little girl who grew up saying, I'm going to be a writer when I grow up. I'm going to be a writer when I grow up. I remember being like in grade school, and I used to walk around with notebooks full of stories that I would write just all day long. And so there's a piece of me as an adult that I get to give back to that little girl within me. So I'm always mindful of that. And then, our kids, like, we want to show them, like, your path doesn't have to be that streamline that you see on TV, or, you know, especially for my oldest, TikTok. Like, that's really not how life works. Like, you can literally go after the things you want, but you have to have a certain level of discipline, research, and order that go along with that. And just showing them that, you know, things are achievable. It sounds so cliche, but life is truly what you make it. As much as we steer, you know, we don't want to or realize that, it's true. Like, I have a choice every day I wake up to write this book, or I can be mad that I didn't write the book, or I can say, I'll get to it. And then 2 more years go by and I still ain't wrote the book. So keeping all that at the forefront of why I do what I do, for me, is, I think, my biggest motivation.
I love it. I love it. We all have a choice, y'all. You heard it here first. You have a choice. Make the choice. Or get knocked out like your father. Speaking of Black culture and movies,
there you go.
you know,
Right?
so yeah, you have a husband, you have 3 kids. How do you balance all that you are doing? Because you are a real estate investor, and I know you guys do that together, but then your SDJ services, and then just being your own author. Like, how do you balance all that? Because one thing I know about you guys that's always been true as long as I've known you is the importance of, though, your family and your kids and, you know, all that stuff. It's not like you cast that to the side to pursue your
Right.
dreams and like send them off to boarding school or something like that.
Man, if I had that kind of money, no.
But yeah, how do you balance everything?
I wish I had the perfect answer, but I don't. Some days are better than others, you know. There are days when I literally break down and cry to Chevis because I don't have enough time to do A, B, C, D. I feel like a failure. And then there are days to where I'm like, y'all gonna have to wait. I got stuff to do, you know. So it just kind of depends on what's going on. But I think for us, our situation is very unique in the sense of, like, 3 different kids, 3 different schools, 3 different schedules. And so I just have to be that adaptable person to kind of, whatever I can get done for the day, that's what I get done. So I just go off a checklist. I'm very much a checklist person. Like I shared with you before, like I told Chev, if it's not on our shared calendar, it doesn't exist in my world. So if you want me to do something, put it on the calendar so I know it's there and I know where I have to be. I mean, transparent mom moment. There have been days where I left my kid at school just because I was at the other kid's school thinking I was supposed to be there. I mean, the reality of it is there's no perfect scenario for my setup. And so I just have to get in where I fit in on certain days. I just have to make it work. But again, going back to the motivation on why I need to make things work. So yeah, it's a circus, literally.
And so then what do you do for self-care for you? Because yeah, you are a wife and a mom and an author and a real estate investor and you offer services to all these people. However, if you're not good to you, you're no good to any of those things. So like, and I know it always looks different for everyone. That's why I always ask every guest this similar question, simply because your answer may inspire someone else who's struggling to find ways for self-care, because it's different for everybody. So what does self-care look like for Samone?
Self-care, what is that? No, I'm kidding. I'm a really simple person. So you give me a good boxing match on TV with some food in front of me that I could, you know, binge on all night, I'm good. Or me and Chev eating and just hanging out with just me and him and no children. That's self-care. Or books like that. My whole life, books has been my escape. And so give me a minute where I can read without somebody asking me to fix them lunch or asking me some random question that pertains to nothing that's happening in the world. So, you know, just those small moments of just reprieve and just being by myself are, to me, that self-care, because those are rare moments in my world. It's like, as the kids, I thought it was like tough when, like, because we have twins. And I thought it was tough having twins when they were little, one of which, you know, has some disabilities. But I'm like, it doesn't get easier. They just get older and they got new issues. And I'm like, you know, it just never ends. So, you know, when I can find those me moments or me and Chev hanging out kind of moments, that's self-care for me.
That's good. That's good. So, what's one piece of advice that you would offer to my listeners on anything?
I say this to pretty much everybody that I meet. They've heard me say this at least once or twice, and then especially to the kids that we mentor in the youth detention. But as you grow up, be who you needed when you were younger, and that can be who you needed to yourself. So, like me on my journey, taking care of little Samone, those wounds that are still within me, or being who you know my kids need, being who my friends need, whatever that is, making sure that when you look back on your life, like, man, I needed somebody to come in and speak this to me, or I needed somebody to come in and, do these things for me. You can do that now. You have the opportunity. And it doesn't have to be some extravagant display, but just you being you and being authentic to somebody else can be life changing for the next person. So be who you needed when you were younger.
You are needed in this world, y'all. This is what I'm gonna expand on one part she just said. Be authentically you. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a void that only you can fill. There are needs that only you can meet. And if you are being you, you will do that. However, if you're not being true to who you are and even what you're supposed to be doing or the purpose you're supposed to be filling, and you're out here trying to be like this man or that woman or, whatever, you're not really like, there's still the void. There's still the void
Right.
that only you
Right.
can fill. There's still the
Right.
need.
And nobody do it like you can do it.
Yeah. And
Yep.
so I love that, because we're all different and we're all needed though. Like,
Yeah.
so I love it. So, Samone, where can the people find you if they want to follow you on social media, hire you, you know what I'm saying, for services, purchase a book? Where can the
Yeah.
people find you?
So across the board, author SD Johnson. My website, that's where you can find the freelance work. My books are on Amazon. That's also linked on the website, but mainly all my books are on Amazon. Freelance on the website I can't even talk right now. AuthorSDJohnson.com. And then across Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, at Author SD Johnson. So very easy. I'm out there somewhere.
Very consistent. I love it, because efficiency. Make it easy for the people to follow you and find you. You know what I'm saying?
I had a habit of changing my thing, my little at name like thousands of times. I was like, nah, if I want people to know what's up, let me just be consistent. So learning curve.
Yes, so y'all, I will definitely have her social media handles and the link to her website in the episode notes, so that you can buy her books, hire her, follow her on social media, whatever it is that you want to do. Do you have any upcoming projects or anything, events or anything that you want to promote as well?
So I have 2 books coming. When I'm writing them, they'll be out soon. My goal is September, so that's part of our accountability note. So I'm trying to get it done by September. And then I have a passion project that Chev is helping me bring to life that I don't want to speak about yet, because I feel like, I'm not being superstitious, but I don't like speaking about things until they're fully formed. And I know it's going to be a success, which I believe it will be. So something else that's under wraps, but it all ties into like the books and my life. So.
All right, y'all. Good vibe praying people. Send them her way. Y'all haters, in case. And it's so funny. Because if you're a hater and you listening this far into the episode,
thank you for staying.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you for the download and all that good stuff. But if you're a hater, act like you didn't even hear that. You know what I'm saying? We don't need your bad vibes and preying on folks' downfall and stuff like that. It is definitely... you should have maybe 1 or 2 people that you have as like accountability and even pray for you or whatever, but it's definitely so smart to move in silence, and not even say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Just do what you got. Like, how do you have time to, I don't understand that. How do you have time to really be saying, I'm doing this and I'm doing that? Like, just do it, because so many people, sadly, they're either unhappy with themselves, they're jealous because you're able to do things that maybe they're not supposed to, or they can, or whatever. Yeah, it's just, there's such wisdom in moving in silence.
So true. There's something Chev told me, because I had somebody who was very close to me kind of speak ill of some of the things I was trying to work towards. And it really, I'm super sensitive. So it really hit me like, I don't even want to try this no more. And Chev was like, hold on a minute. He was like, how did he say it? He was like, you can't stop your dream because somebody else doesn't allow themselves to dream. So it's not your problem. So you need to keep doing you. And I think he's been my biggest motivator as well, with keeping me on track, because I can get kind of squirrely with, I don't know if I'm good enough, and self-doubt, like that kind of thing. And he's always like, you know, why you keep forgetting your dope? Like, that's on you. Get up and go do what you got to do. So, yeah.
So dope they get high. Melanintoxication. Man, that segue. Come on. Yes, come on, y'all. That was a great segue. So, y'all, make sure you check her out, because I read The Weekend, and I read it many, many years ago, and I still remember that book. I mean, you recently had me beta read something else.
I didn't even finish that book.
Which is unfortunate, because I've always been a reader. I don't do it as much anymore, and I kind of hate that, but I really don't have time right now. But a good book, and I've always been a fan of like Black authors, so like the Eric Jerome Dickies, Sister Souljah, Zane. I've always loved. I probably shouldn't have been reading some of them books when I think about how old I was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter. A good book, before the busyness of college and pursuing dreams and all that, a good book used to be my escape. Like, I could read it like quickly, you know what I'm saying? Because I would just get so lost in it. So y'all definitely tap in with her, because I don't say this just because she's my friend. I feel like part of why we've become so close is just, I guess, her being inspired by me, but also me being inspired by her. And I love to try to surround myself with people who inspire me, because I'm watching them do what they're doing. Melanintoxication, you feel me? You know?
Yep.
So y'all, make sure that you are also taking care of yourselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We have so much going on in this world right now. So take care of yourself. Be good to yourself and others. Make sure you're prioritizing self-care. Like, take a rest day. I don't care what you're grinding towards. It is so important to have at least one rest day per week. You can go hard 6 days of the week and have that one day where you stop. Don't get on your computer. Don't answer them emails. Don't do anything, so that you can reset, refresh, and then you can go even that much harder the rest of those 6 days. So make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Eat foods that are going to fuel your body and give you the mental clarity that is needed to pursue your dreams. Because if you eat a bunch of trash, it tastes good in the moment, but that's where you get to feeling cloudy-headed and lethargic. And it's like, how can you do what you need to do or want to do if you're not taking care of yourself? So that's why I'm such a promoter of that, because it's so important. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all sticking with us past all the studio audience hating in the beginning and every, background noise. If y'all heard that, I apologize, but I appreciate y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Ladies and gents, this concludes transmission. Tune in next time for a whole new edition. Another adventure and mission to share, be heard, and clarify the vision of this whole new world for...